It's the midday news on CoreTV News. I'm Nifemi Oguntoye. The federal government has deployed additional troops in the northeast to intensify the ongoing war against insurgency. And the troops would help to strengthen the military onslaught against insurgents, as well as helping to stabilize the territories recovered by the multinational Joint Task Force for the March 28 and April 11 elections. Military authorities say the deployment would involve mostly soldiers brought back from foreign missions in Darfur, South Sudan and other places to complement the efforts of the troops already engaged in the counter-terrorism operation. The federal government said it might recall troops involved in foreign missions to enhance the operational efficiency and capacity of the troops in the fight against Boko Haram. Coordinator of the National Information Center and Director General of the National Orientation Agency, Mike Omeri, said this in Abuja. Meanwhile, the Defense Authority said in a tweet posted on the official Twitter handle of the Nigerian military that troops had continued their onslaught against the insurgents in Kukawa, Gere, and Gujaba, all in Borno State on Sunday. President Goodluck Jonathan on Monday boasted that despite the intimidation being mounted against members of the ruling party by opposition parties, no political party can beat the PDP in the coming elections. The president said those who have not done anything have been intimidating the ruling party because it's not been marketing itself. The president spoke in Abuja just as the Director General of its campaign organization, Amadou Ali, and some foreign countries were opposed. He also said that some foreign countries were opposed to Jonathan's re-election bid because it signed the anti-same-sex bill into law. They both spoke during the unveiling of the PDP Ward Volunteer Scheme held inside the presidential villa in Abuja. While the president says that the People's Democratic Party has done well over the years and is willing to do more in the coming years, he also insists that the ruling party is not intimidated by other parties whom he says have nothing other than empty promises to offer the populace. President Jonathan said this while addressing PDP aspirants and volunteers across the country in Abuja. He maintained that the only party that can ensure peace, unity and progress in the country is the People's Democratic Party. The Lagos State chapter of the PDP has thrown its weight behind the ministerial nomination of Senator Musiliu Obanikoro. The party reaffirms its total support and unequivocal commitment to the reappointment of the senator and ambassador as a second-term minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The party has thus informed Mr. President, the Senate and the general public to ignore the sponsored rumors that some leaders of PDP in the state are opposed to the reappointment of Senator Obanikoro as minister. It thereby opines that the sponsors of the divisive rumor are the leaders of the APC, especially in Lagos State, who will always shiver at the mention of Obanikoro. The statement reads, "Indeed, a willing Obanikoro is politically skillful to torment the assumed political influence of APC in the state." End of quote. They are thus peddling the rumor to cause acrimony amongst the people. Meanwhile, there are opposition to the nomination of the former defense minister as opposing Oyetebo's submission in the court counsel to the EFCC. Ms. Chineye Oguago maintained that the appellate court's decision in the cases of Onwosu and Akingbola were not applicable in Atuche's case, describing Atuche's application for dismissal of the charges as frivolous and vexatious, urging Lawa Akpo to discontinue the application and assume jurisdiction after the case. We'll bring you details of that subsequently. President Goodluck Jonathan has offered automatic employment to 164 winners of the 2012, 2013 and 2014 National Youth Service Corps Presidential Award. He also announced automatic scholarship for any of them who wishes to go for further studies. The president made the announcement at the 2014 President's NYSC Honors Award in Abuja. 23.5 million naira was also raised for 9 core members who sustained injuries during the service year. With barely 3 months to the end of the current democratic dispensation, government agencies have been presenting scorecards on their achievements in the past 4 years. The forum, which is at the instance of the National Orientation Agency, is a 2-day town hall meeting where ministers are to outline government policies to community leaders and market women. Finance Minister Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala and our Works and Transport counterparts on Monday outlined their achievements at the interactive session moderated by the NOA Director, Michael Mary.
Our government has recorded in various sectors of our national life. In line with the National Orientation Agency's mandate to communicate government policies, programs and activities, as clearly spelled out in the Act establishing the agency, we also wish to use this conversation to obtain feedback from people as to how you feel about the several progresses that our government have made in various sectors. It is also our expectation that you will derive value as you learn how to plug into these policies, programs and activities, take advantage of them to make life better for you, members of your immediate community and extended family in a true tradition of Africa.
The job is not yet done. We are not saying we are there yet, because we know we still have the accumulation of people who were unemployed from the past, isn't it? It didn't start today. Over the years, this has been accumulated. That is why we needed to know these numbers. So now we are close to closing the gap yearly. We will now be able to tap into the residue of those who are employed and give them jobs.
New initiatives were taken at the Ministry of Works, at the behest of Mr. President, to ensure that the project management template of the ministry was now pointed to better service delivery.
As a parent, I promise
344 0703 83380. Thank you very much.
A federal high court in Abuja has rejected an application for an order stopping the Independent National Electoral Commission from using the electronic card readers in the forthcoming general elections. A similar suit challenging the exclusive use of a permanent voter card and the card reader is pending before Justice Abdulkadir Abdulkafarati of the Federal High Court in Abuja. Justice Adeniyi Ademola, in his ruling on Monday on the application filed on behalf of the political parties by 4 senior advocates of Nigeria, held that INEC deserves to be heard before making a pronouncement on their prayers. He noted that the political parties have shown that they have legal rights to institute the action and that the case was one that could be litigated on, but he says the court cannot grant the interim order sought by the applicants without hearing from INEC. The court, however, ordered INEC to file its defense within 4 days of receiving the court papers, while also fixing hearing of the substantive suit for March the 10th. Meanwhile, the Independent National Electoral Commission in Ogun State says they are still expecting 425,454 PVCs from INEC and 510,264 cards have not been collected out of the 1,370,340 received from the Commission. The Resident Electoral Commissioner Timothy Bitoye made this known during a press conference at the INEC office in Abeokuta, the state capital. He also assured the people of Ogun that the PVC will be distributed immediately they receive them from Abuja.
We are expecting from Abuja the registered voters to be told of 425,454. But the PVC our people have not collected in Ogun State is 510,264. And I assure you that immediately we get the PVC we are expecting from Abuja, we will go back to the PU level to distribute.
The alleged plot by the federal government to evict the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Atahiru Jaga, before the March 28th general election has received more criticisms. Addressing journalists in Osogbo, the Osun State capital, activist under the aegis of Osun Progressive Left says Jaga's removal and an attempt at shifting the polls again is an invitation to anarchy and threat to the nation's coexistence. But while the All Progressives Congress has threatened to sue the People's Democratic Party and its presidential campaign spokesman, Femi Fani-Kayode, if he fails to show proofs that Professor Yemi Osinbajo was to resign for the party's national leader, Bola Tinubu, if Muhammadu Buhari wins the March 28 presidential election. APC's presidential campaign team said in a statement that it's given the PDP and Fani-Kayode 72 hours to either show evidence of the oath taken or retract the libelous claims. Campaign spokesman Garba Shehu said in a statement that the claim is not only an attack on the integrity and the reputations of the APC stalwarts, but also slanderous and libelous. The party insists on a public apology to Osinbajo, Tinubu and APC, all be prepared to be charged to the court of law. We'll take a break now and we'll be back with more. Don't go away.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digit 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
Thanks for joining us again on the Midday News. You can also get all of our top stories on any of our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/CoreTV News. We're also trending on Twitter. It's at CoreTV News NG. You can watch all of our programs and our news on YouTube now. It's streaming on youtube.com/CoreTV, the space and news. Moving on now, a political organization, Mass Movement for Buhari, has raised the alarm over what it describes as violence and intimidation against members of the All Progressives Congress and members of the opposition parties in the southeast. A statement on Monday in Abuja by the National Coordinator MMB, Kenneth Ibekalu, alleged that members and supporters of the PDP sporadically unleashed mayhem on members of opposition political parties, including APC and the Labour Party in all the 5 states under the zone. According to him, members of the PDP consistently intimidate opposition in the southeast in an attempt to forcefully get its support. He said PDP members are up in arms against members of the opposition in all the southeast states, with a specific example of Ebonyi, where he alleged that PDP members have been attacking members of the Labour Party. Meanwhile, national leader of the APC, Bola Tinubu, is set to sue the management of the Dark Communications Limited, owners of the Africa Independent Television AIT, over a documentary aired on Sunday. Counsel to the opposition figure Tunji Abayomi said in a letter asking Dark Communications to apologize and stop further airing. It was delivered which was delivered on Monday afternoon. He noted in the letter that the hour-long documentary, which focused on his client, was filed with political resentment and several false allegations. Abayomi added that the station claimed that the material was sponsored but failed to disclose the sponsors. He argued that freedom of expression does not give anyone the right to indulge in character assassination. The lawyers consequently demanded 20 billion naira as cost of damage done to the reputation of his client, failing which he will sue the company. The Lagos State High Court in Ikeja slated April 13, 2015 to rule an application filed by a former managing director of the defunct PHB Bank, Francis Achuche, seeking the dismissal of the 25.75 billion naira theft charges preferred against him. Atuche is being tried by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission alongside his wife, Elizabeth, and the former chief financial officer of the defunct bank, Ugo Anyanwu, for alleged 25.7 billion naira fraud. Justice Lateef Lawal Akakpo on Monday adjourned ruling on Atuche's application after the judge had entertained submissions from the parties. Atuche's lawyer, Mr. Tayo Yetibo San, had contended that Lawal Akakpo had no jurisdiction to preside over his client's trial and therefore asked that the charges be accordingly dismissed. Oyetibo said the charges against Atuche burdened on issues which derived from capital market transactions, over which he said only a federal high court could adjudicate. Opposing Oyetibo's submission, counsel to EFCC Ms. Chineye Ogwago maintained that the appellate court's decision in the cases of Nwosu and Akingbola were not applicable in Atuche's case, describing Atuche's application for dismissal of the charges as frivolous and vexatious, urging Lawal Akakpo to discontinue the application and assume jurisdiction over the case. Away to Kwara State now, where resident electoral commissioner Emmanuel Onacheyo has charged politicians to spend more time electorating than investing in violence. He urged all party leaders and candidates to use this extension period to educate all their supporters and followers rather than letting them engage in evil acts. He made this call during a lecture forum organized by Nigerian Union of Journalists, Kwara branch, where he was a speaker.
Let the political parties, the politicians, go and talk to their strikers who are supposed to score goals. They should go and talk to their defenders. They should go and talk to goalkeepers. Okay? This is the message I want you to convey to them.
The Kwara Rec also gave warnings to all journalists not to misuse their right and go beyond their boundaries, saying that they have limited areas to cover. He further explained that journalists are not allowed to interview a voter or any candidates during the voting process.
Not allowed to interview a voter, an observer, a polling agent, or any special guest inside the polling unit during voting. You are not allowed to do that. You are not allowed to film, photograph, or interview any individual within the polling zone without his or her consent. You are not allowed to film or photograph any voter marking a ballot or acquiring any pictures, film, footage, or audio commentary which records personal details of the voter.
The People's Democratic Party has now blamed the sudden fuel scarcity in many parts of the country on the All Progressives Congress, which it claims has infiltrated the ranks of the fuel marketers. It also claims that opposition elements have been sponsoring vandals to damage critical infrastructure in order to reduce the megawatts of electricity being transmitted in the run-up to the polls. Spokesman for the party's campaign team, Femi Fani-Kayode, said in a statement in Abuja that the fuel marketers have taken a subcontract from the opposition to frustrate supplies of petrol to fuel stations as part of a grand plan to create tension in the party. He claims that the PDP knows who the fuel marketers are, as well as the existing relationship between one of the biggest fuel marketers and a national leader of the APC. The PDP campaign spokesman says all these are being done to frustrate the good works of the Jonathan administration. Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola says Nigeria requires leaders with outstanding qualities to take it out of its current challenging situations. Fashola emphasized this after administering oath of office to 12 newly appointed permanent secretaries in the state civil service. He advised the newly sworn-in secretaries to shun corruption and discrimination in the course of service delivery to the general public.
Let me also remind you that you also swore before us and before God to eschew corruption. But I think that in dealing with the problems of corruption in our country, we have focused on the monetary side of corruption. If you look at the definition of corruption, it is not just an illegal act for pecuniary purpose. It is also gaining undeserved and undue advantage. And these are things that you must avoid: partisanship. Because if I did not avoid them, you probably won't become permanent secretaries.
He also inaugurated a three-man governing council for the Lagos State Public Service Staff Development Center. We'll take another break now, and I'll be back with stories outside Nigeria. Don't go away.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website, www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Retired Namibian President Hifikepunye Pohamba has been declared the winner of the 2014 Mo Ibrahim Foundation Prize for Achievement in African Leadership. Pohamba piped two other retired African heads of state, including former President Mwai Kibaki, to the award, which came with a $5 million prize money. Now, the other leader in contention was Mozambique's former President Armando Guebuza, who left office on January 15, 2015. Pohamba is set to receive $5 million and
the prize committee
a year and $200,000.
Decided to award the 2014 Ibrahim Prize for Achievement in African Leadership to President Pohamba of Namibia. President Pohamba has ceased to be a president in the sense of the mandate. His mandate was concluded by December. I spoke to him yesterday, and I spoke to his successor yesterday. And he was overwhelmed by the decision. But the fact remains, if for example, we had decided to award somebody who was still in the context of his own mandate, the mandate is going on, it will be different. But he's there simply because the swearing-in ceremony has been made to take place in March.
The prize, which was founded in 2006, seeks to recognize and honor exceptional African leaders who have developed their countries and helped to elevate poverty and promote equality. Congratulations to outgoing Namibia President. And that wraps it this hour on CoreTV News. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. Thanks for being there.